Oh, really?
Oh, really? Wow, dude, I would never.
I don't know, I'm not related.
Bullshit.
My
This is
mom
bullshit.
takes me out to the Fox.
You look old for 16.
I know,
What? I'm a 2-year-old.
So last time we went over quite a bit of shit, like I was saying. We covered kind of, you know what, how do I do this? It's just been a long week. My new job's been cool, but gotta wake up at 3:30 to go.
Yeah, don't take this wrong way. You just look a little taxed, a little tired.
Aww.
I'm a little
He's
tired.
young,
I
he's
found
young.
some old Red Bull in my car.
There you go.
Yeah, that'll give you wings.
Yeah, my wings are about that big right now. That was fun. Oh man. So you were a little late, but I asked earlier if anyone has any questions on anything we went over last time. Did you want to review anything? We kind of talked about harmony and chords and scales. Okay, we didn't get like super deep into it, but we did talk about. Does anybody know what a chord is? Can somebody tell me?
Series of notes.
It's a group of notes.
A group of notes.
Yeah,
Okay.
think of it
Series
more
of
like
notes.
that because typically you play a chord kind of mostly together, right? Especially on the guitar, which you're welcome to use mine, but typically we kind of, we play them all together. And then, does anybody remember what this type of thing is called?
Arpeggio.
Yes. And what's an arpeggio? Very good.
Woo!
All right. Does anybody know what the whole and half step pattern for a major scale is? All right,
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Darling, we love
No,
it.
dude, I love that. I love that you know that. But now I'm gonna ask.
I didn't know it.
Very good. Very good.
I got it written down.
Come on, think about it here. Work
You
with
just
me.
said it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know, but I'm not gonna just say it because he said it.
no, you're gonna say it because I asked you to.
Okay. Whole half. Whole. But
So many
but
holes.
I need to know why. Why am I
Why?
saying that? I don't want to be a parrot. And I don't want to do this because you're telling me to say.
Because
it.
saying
I want to know
things-
why. Why is it that it's? I mean, obviously it's because it's.
No, let's go over it. It's cool. This is why I asked.
Scientifically that way, but I mean.
Why is it that way? Like, why does that make a major scale? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Or why does that?
So does that change when it becomes a minor scale?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
So a
It'd
major
never be that easy.
A major
I'm
scale.
gonna show you guys
Whole,
the difference between.
I just do things by ear. I'm so
No,
used
it's
to doing
good.
things by ear.
It's good.
So
I'm
that's
glad
stuff.
you asked that question.
My training,
Yeah.
or lack thereof, is not ingrained in.
I mean, you're getting
theory,
trained right
you know.
now.
I'm
dude.
trying.
So, what's our C major scale?
D, C,
Good.
D,
Always start with what you know.
right, C, D,
It's all right.
E,
Good job, Deanna.
F,
Uh-huh.
G, A,
Keep on going.
B, C.
And C, right? Good. Now, you guys remember that little keyboard diagram we made?
Yeah.
Very first class.
Right
I
there.
do.
You guys weren't here for? I know you probably already invited this. Smart
Donovan
motherfucker.
should bring massage chairs.
So, I'm gonna do this across the bottom now. I suck at drawing, don't judge me.
I wish I knew
We
I would
already-
draw.
We're judging you from a lot of other things.
Oh, right.
Not your drawing.
My man bun?
Yeah.
I love the mirror guys.
Of course you do.
Super cute.
No, it's just you can see your neck for once. Otherwise it's
It's burnt, man. I forgot sunscreen on the job and I'm now officially a redneck.
I remember a couple years ago went out on a boat and my buddy and we went fishing and I had this on right here and I had my glasses. So I had this red line right across here and then white for my eyes. And he was just dying for the next
Oh,
3 or
man.
4
That's rough.
days.
Like Spider-Man.
That'll get you.
Like right now. It's just getting
Yeah.
real solid right there where my t-shirt stops.
I was like by birds. So.
Yeah, I was that too, but
Are those
Why don't we just use this keyboard over here?
yeah. I could, but the problem is, it doesn't have the notes written on it, and I'm not gonna go through all that work.
Oh, okay. I was trying to be helpful.
Oh, no, I appreciate it.
No help.
I already started drawing it, just let me finish.
I wish Mike was here, cause I don't know how the hell he figures out what notes to play on any song.
His ear
I mean, he just,
is
it
trained. a
seems
little bit.
like it's
That's another thing
effortless
that's
for
kind of tough
him.
that I would like to try to get to, or at least help you guys kind of
Right.
be able to do today. But I'm mainly showing this to Jason.
So right there's a half. Right,
Mhm.
Even though I play the piano.
It's okay.
One of these days, you're gonna see, you're
There's
gonna
literally
see, you're gonna
no
see
stupid
some
question. There's
some
only stupid answers.
piano
Right.
work on my Facebook
Oh,
page,
cool.
so you just keep your eyes open.
Alright, I'll be looking forward to
Me
Most
too.
that.
likely it'll be like a Dream Theater
And I'll
song.
share.
Hey, whatever.
James Carey.
Remember, these are black keys. I left some space. I didn't draw them very well, so I'm actually just gonna write the notes above those.
We got it.
Oh, there is your podcast.
A slash means or, obviously.
D flat. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, I'm just writing it above these. That's not a 6 flat. My writing is. I've not improved on my penmanship
We
since I was
can-
about
That's
6 years
Same
old.
with me.
6?
Join the crowd.
Good God.
My daughter is almost 10. She looks like she still writes with her feet. It's unbelievable.
Right,
Smart,
so
smart
Yeah,
kid, but
my
holy
penmanship
shit.
isn't that good.
Alright, so this is one good thing, Greg. One good thing to keep in mind. Try to envision this just because when you don't have to know how to play the keys, you do have to see the keyboard because the keyboard is the only thing that makes sense. Your guitar's not gonna fucking make any sense.
Well, I
That's
did
why I give it a
practice
hard
that on
time.
my guitar
So
this week.
this
so.
is whole, half, whole, half because of the spaces between these notes. That's really all it comes down to. It sounds more complicated than it is, and a lot of people will complicate it. So I'm trying to make it simple. But again, the thing to think about here is your interval system, right? All that means is the space between notes. Okay? So between C and D, how far are we going? A whole or a half?
What's that?
Capstone.
Between C and D?
We're going a whole. A whole
Oh,
because
yeah.
we're skipping
One.
C
a
sharp.
black key, right? Which I'm gonna just color those.
So the
in.
C
Right.
sharp.
So
is
between
a half
E and
step.
F would be a half step. yeah?
Yes, very good.
Yes.
Very good.
How do you
Nice
have
job.
to walk?
That's cool, man. It's my art project.
Okay.
Just because I didn't end up writing the notes.
Yeah.
And they're the red keys now, they're not black keys.
Right, so you got
They're
whole,
opening for the black keys later.
whole, half, whole.
Right, so again, going from C to D, we're going a whole step because we're skipping that tone.
Right.
D to E is a whole step, E to F's half. Whole, half.
Right, okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
Now, applying this to the guitar again becomes a little tough, and I went over this pretty quick last time. So, now that we've begun this a little earlier, we have more time to do some musical stuff today. You guys remember how to do this on your guitar
Yep.
or your bass? Yeah. Can everybody play a C major on one string, on your A string? Not a chord.
A what?
A C major scale. So we're gonna walk this scale all the way up our A string. And actually here, you use mine.
Okay.
Brand, do you want an acoustic out there?
Yeah, I'll find a tune.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you were. Cause I remember I did you down to it. Oh. I'm also down to your post You just start right here. It's the same thing. You're just starting.
Taking everything off the wall one by one and bringing it into.
Yeah, so the Taylor guitars, which one are those?
This is a D.
Oh.
It's nice and cheap, so I'm not tuning?
Getting there.
Only a whole bit of snark.
Oh, he was a half step down?
Full step.
Full step?
Getting into that tool territory. Wait, that's not my case.
What are you taking there, buddy?
You can tune a guitar, but you can't tune a thing.
Hey, look, they're getting a tuned guitar for sale for $170. I might
I didn't know Donovan could slap.
That was me.
Apparently.
Oh.
I didn't
That's why I
see.
said
So.
flea.
It wasn't him.
Hold the guitar.
I take the credit. I'm kidding. It was him.
There you go.
Slap in the face, man. Slap in the face.
Let's hear some Playpool.
Something like
Let's Playpool.
Jerry was a race car driver.
you guys stay on.
Rodney,
I guess I should do the same thing.
This guitar was tuned for like really heavy stuff.
So happy.
I almost brought my attacking meat in, but the tuning wasn't going to work for exercises here.
It actually will. I mean,
No,
technically.
it was tuned to a B.
That looks like a little-
Yeah, you would sound off from everybody, but you'd still be playing the major scale right.
Right, yeah.
What we're really looking at here. Can't stress this enough. It's not just the notes. Yes, we want the notes because you guys want to learn where your notes are on the neck of the guitar, but also the formula.
Don't bring it, don't bring it, don't bring it.
Covered.
Yeah.
I think about it, you know, with
That's
like
how we
imagine a
do it.
certain
Don't bring, don't bring, don't
or
bring.
whatever you want.
and slaps you in the face.
Balls. Do I like the drums?
So again, playing this thing on one string allows us to do some horizontal movement on the guitar. Also, we're treating the guitar like a piano when we do this. Everybody tuned up? Alright, chin back down, hold step. Alright, so find C on your A string. Whatever rock you're ready, actually. Let's let him tune up.
Golden Light Shatter, thanks.
Wow. That was really good. Alright. See? Now, everybody go to D. Beautiful. Now everybody go to E. Now go to F. Now go to G. A. B. See, that's where it'll catch
I
you
went
every
off.
time that's
It
said.
catches me down here because I don't know this part of the neck at
Yeah,
all.
okay, so,
So, C.
then we go to C. Then one more up. Yeah, now you're at C.
Okay.
So, Greg brought up a good point. It's really easy when you've been playing down here for a while, especially on bass. It's easy to know the notes down here, and it's weird when you get up here, even though you know they repeat.
Why is
right?
that up, not down? That looks down to me.
No, this is up because the pitch gets higher.
Up at the top.
Oh. Up at
See
the
what I
top
mean?
is at the bottom, actually.
Yes, so up here is higher because the pitch goes up.
Oh.
These strings on the bottom are also higher.
Oh, wait,
Yes,
wait again?
because this is your low string, and this is your high string.
Oh, everything on the guitar is backwards.
It is backwards, but it's because it makes it easier for us to play the guitar physically.
Is that a classical guitar? Nylon string? Is it nylon string?
Yeah, it's nylon string. Pretty sweet guitar.
I want to some mariachi.
Right, there you go. I like that Iceman, man. I used to have one for like a week. I think something happened and it broke.
I was obsessed with the design. It was
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like 8.
Oh,
Was I?
Did you break it over the bass's head?
What?
You said you had it for a week. Did you break it over the bass's head or something?
No.
You said
I'm
something
usually the
happened.
bassist.
So, if I go down here, so this is whole,
Wait, before you start, that first thing you play isn't the hole because you're starting at the root. So there's no interval to go from there.
okay,
This is your starting point. Then it's a whole step.
so,
Right, so then you just want hold to D, and then you're gonna go hold to E.
oh, I see, so this
Yeah,
is the
so
root,
don't
so
say
you start,
hold too early.
so it
You
goes
say-
whole,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
Half,
Half.
and then whole, so whole.
Yep.
Okay.
Very good.
Alright.
So, one thing I'm gonna try to give you guys, I took notes, trying to be a little more specific. I'm gonna give the group stuff to work on, and then I'm gonna try and email each of you guys something kind of specific for yourselves to work on for each of your goals. Now, because guitar is like, remember how I said it's like 6 pianos that all sort of overlap? That makes sense? We basically just played our piano that starts from A, right? Okay, so now you need to figure out how to play this on 2 strings instead of just 1. Because at no point in your playing are you gonna go, right? I don't have a cutoff. So, or I'll cut away, so I can't go that high up. But, I need wow, that's a nice Taylor. So, especially for me, because I don't have a cutaway like everyone else does. So I gotta figure out a way to go, and then change the strings, so that I can cover less horizontal ground, and sort of make a diagonal approach on the guitar, which is what allows us to flow, right? At no point going in a straight line on the guitar with 1 finger. You know, unless you're going like in a surf rock song or what's that?
He just
Mason
died
Road?
recently. didn't he?
Yeah, Dick Dale. Man,
Dale, yeah.
sad dude.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, so anyways, at no point in doing that is it very practical. It's good to know because that's how you can get to know the notes of your A string. Now, before we go even farther,
About being a shithead.
I'm gonna show you guys. We should do this on the E string to get another example, and I'm gonna have you guys answer. So now we're gonna start on the 3rd fret of the E string. They're the same, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, so on guitar, they're the exact same thing. One's just higher, one's lower. I'm gonna play the low because Rich has a bass, and he doesn't have a high E string. Right?
But on bass, there is no,
Now,
I don't know what, I've never played a bass, so.
a bass is the bottom 4 strings of your guitar.
No,
Yep.
so E, A, D, G,
Very good.
that's all you got?
So,
Unless you have a 6 string.
yeah, even then, it's
Which is beastly. You should bring that.
it is beastly. I'll bring it one
The
day.
thing's magic.
I'm glad you said that. Alright, well, let's try to get a little. So now we're gonna, instead of me just giving you guys this, we're gonna take this formula and we're gonna apply it and figure out notes on the strings, okay? We're gonna figure out our next scale, which is gonna be G major. Alright? Now remember, you have your notes to look at here if it gets confusing and you don't know where you're at. Okay? So, from G, what do we do? How many steps are we going? Oh, exactly.
Oh.
Now, we all know what fret that takes us to, right? Easy. What note does that lead us to? A. Very good.
Woo! Everyone gets a cookie.
Yeah, I should have brought cookies.
Next time.
I'll bring some kind of fun, like, desserts instead of just water. Alright, so now we know that. Using the formula, what's next? B. Full step. Yes, B. Very good.
G, A, B, C.
So,
Yeah, there we go. G, A, B, C.
D.
D. Very good, Jason.
That was me.
Oh, also DM. Sorry.
Wow, do I sound like Jason?
No, I thought he said D. I think I said it at the same
Oh,
time.
did we?
Alright,
and
yeah,
then another
good.
whole step.
Very good. So we've done so far. Bam, bam, bam. So what's next?
E.
E, right? Good. Now comes the part that may trip you up.
F
maybe
sharp.
not.
F.
Did you say that?
Is it?
Nice job, dude.
What was it?
It's F sharp.
But it's a half step?
No, it's a
Oh.
whole
Oh, it's a
step.
whole step.
Because we're
down
on,
there.
we're on our 7th note of the scale, so we still have a half step to go before we reach the R
I see.
octave. Okay? So,
Oh, really? So it's always
so
whole,
from
whole,
E-
half, whole, half
for the major scale, yes, that's the formula.
No matter what letter you start on.
No matter what letter. So, and I'm showing you guys another way. It's gonna be it's gonna probably sound complicated up here, but we're gonna do this one more time with another key. Because it helps, the more you do something, the better you get at it, you know what I mean? So,
Nice.
does anyone have any questions on what we just did? Pretty easy, right?
Pro-master.
Now, what you guys really gotta do with this is play it on your guitar and say the notes to yourself as you go. I know that sounds so stupid and kind of childish, but trust me, it will help you know your notes. Because your ears need to match up to what your hands are doing. So, example, close. Starting
Am I
with G.
missing?
Good.
All,
So you're here.
half.
Up. You went too fast. Remember, that's not a whole. That's the G. So you
Oh,
gotta go
right. I
from
keep
G.
forgetting that.
Yeah, it's okay. That's why we're doing it repetitively.
So G, alright, so G.
Remember the arrow.
Whole, there we go,
No,
okay.
because again, this, you're not, this isn't your.
So you start in G.
Before you can have it in your
Right.
voice. This is your first
Whole,
band.
half.
That's whole.
So think of
So,
that as your starting or whatever. Yeah, it gets confusing at first.
The root.
Yeah.
The root.
Yeah, the root. So I always think of it as root, whole.
Okay.
I should probably put that.
Oh, it's not. Every time you hear some crazy shit, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, but you're good too. You're all good.
Yeah, Mr. Jimmy Page over here. That was really good, man. I'll never forget that. Good. Is that the sweeping pattern?
Oh, no, that's.
F, but it's not F, it's an
It's not
F sharp.
It's F sharp.
And down
So you can
here,
go
are all of these sharps?
No, because they're not all the same. So this gets me to like another thing.
Yeah, this is the stuff I have no clue.
Okay, so let me try to explain this.
Why is it an F sharp and not an F?
Just because that hole just happens to end on an F sharp.
We're using this formula, right? Whole root.
I'm gonna come
whole,
hang out over
half,
here.
whole, half. Now we applied it to a different starting tone.
Right.
Okay? G, whole. Leads
Right.
to A, leads to B, leads to C, D, E. We still have to go a whole step. Look at your keyboard, man. It's E to F
Right,
a
I
whole
see.
step. E to F sharp is a whole step.
Oh, so it's a half, okay, now I get it.
You
I s-
sure?
I see it now.
Okay.
Now I see it, you just explained it, so that's why it's a half. Because if you went a whole, then it would be a
No,
half.
you are going a whole. If you're going a whole, right there's the
Oh.
G.
Okay,
You have to go a whole here, just for the major scale exercise.
okay, I see, okay.
Yeah.
So you have to go a whole down here.
Yes.
So that's F sharp, and then the next step would be what, a whole? If you would go
No,
down.
half.
So it would be a half.
One other thing to think about.
Half.
Whole,
When you're
whole,
down
half,
here.
whole, half. Yeah, think of these like this, dude.
There's never gonna be two halves in a row though.
Not in this scale.
Not in the major scale.
Right.
Okay. Sorry, my lines aren't straight.
That's all right.
I suck at drawing. and writing,
Wow.
so. But imagine it as a grid, okay? Because C is the first step, which is also the root.
Right.
The next step is you gotta remember you're going a whole step up, right?
Right.
Then you
Skip
figure
the
out what
black
that
key.
note is.
Right.
Then you gotta remember the next step is a whole step.
So
Then you
it's a
figure out
whole
your
note.
third note.
Right. Okay.
So another important thing, well, you don't have to do this, but you can. This is to try and associate some. Try and associate. That's not a different thing.
So back to G. Okay, I got it. Nope.
Good, your ear heard that. Nice job. Alright. So one thing that helped me with this, because we're trying to do a lot here, when you take it home, when you guys take this home, if you're having trouble with it, separate some of this out. Don't look at all this shit at once.
Right.
Go, I'm gonna learn what the notes are first. Or I'm gonna learn this formula first and apply it. Whatever you want to do, but try and maybe look at one piece as opposed to all of them. I only have all of them up here so you can see how they all work together. But another thing that really helps is, let's just say that Rob is way better than he lets off.
Let me raise that one.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Take a picture. We're going to do another one in a second. Everybody that wants to take a picture, you can. If you want.
Can you redraw straight lines for me? I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding.
Oh, up at the top? No, I can. I totally
No,
don't
no,
mind.
that's fine.
Because I can also do.
Wow, that's so bright.
Sorry.
I'll
I'll give you guys something closer you can take a picture of too.
Well, I actually downloaded the guitar neck with all the notes on it.
Oh, did
Now I'm on
you?
my
That was what I was
computer.
gonna send you.
Yeah. I
Put it
have
in chunks.
Put it
my,
in chunks.
My best advice, yeah, put it in chunks like 1st through 5th fret. And then
Okay.
try and kind of get those down.
Gotcha.
And you'll see how you can cover your C major scale across the A, D, and G strings when you do that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I practiced some of that this week, but just on the A string.
No, that's good.
So,
Do it however you know, do it at whatever speed you need.
Yep.
My brain tends to move faster than
Yeah.
everything else.
When it comes to learning songs and music songs, it moves real slow. It's like, shit.
I do.
That's
Oh,
okay.
yeah, I got it finally after hard
I'm a
tries.
little slow today,
Yeah, I think we've all had all these.
Got a different stoolie?
Yeah.
Cool.
They got all kind of stool samples in here. That one looks that one looks like it's got a softer on top. This stool's a little loose over here.
Watch out. On diarrhea going on.
Oh, I hate that.
It's an over-trusted fart.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
That's why you need a softer
so
stool.
much,
That's much more comfortable.
Not a hungry man, so no outcome, don't risk it.
Yeah. Keep it in. Just wear diapers on the stage.
That's great.
Ruby diapers. I would if I was that scared. My ass would wear diapers.
I just do recreationally, but you know.
I thought everybody
My wife's really into me wearing diapers. She loves me.
Not
You beat yourself up over it for an idiot.
We're trying to make a thing that makes a lot more.
You guys all short men.
Everybody solo.
What a mess.
How do you herd cats?
Just like that.
You don't.
I like to herd cats.
What?
Things Shane taught me how he like some of the exercises he went through.
I'm not gonna say anything. So that one go.
I know, I want to do the hard age thing.
Oh.
That's the right way to do it.
Tip down.
I just stopped.
For us, look big.
And each his own, you know.
Hot fun.
True.
Y'all ever play together?
Stay away from me. He's like, but I can't do it.
Yeah, I know.
You guys have been slack a little on his training.
Okay, now we're just showing off.
Here's something you guys can take a picture of that's a lot more less sloppy than up there.
Bet your penis.
So
You know this is being recorded. right?
Damn, man.
that's just for you
Don't
guys.
ever think about running for the president of the United
three-
States because all that's gonna surface.
There's three parts to
All
this.
you fuckers.
Okay.
It's a good thing I like every one of you in here.
The parts we really are
For
filling
now.
in every time that we go to do something like this, when we learn our scales and we're learning music, is the note.
No,
Is the note.
I got it.
Okay. The intervals is the formula, and the numbers just represent what part of the scale that we're on.
The interval
Picture's gonna be upside down.
and the degree.
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I just gotta take
What's the degree again?
The degree is what part of the scale we're on. So C is the first note, right?
I see, okay.
Like
I see
what
you're
note of
saying.
the scale?
The second note
Without
would be
the letter
D.
name.
The third, okay, I see.
Right.
Okay,
So if we think about it like that,
gotcha.
it makes sense. You guys all take a picture of this that anybody needs to?
I got it.
Alright, cool.
I think we're good.
So now we're gonna do this.
You put a special filter on this.
Oh, it just looks fabulous.
Oh, wow. Stop me on
Remember, don't go a whole step too early. Now we're gonna do D major.
Tune that bitch.
Okay.
That's what he was.
Alright, so
Horizontal.
D major, what's our first note?
D.
Good.
Good D.
We go up a whole step. What's our second note?
E.
E.
Very good. We go up another whole step. What's our third?
F.
F, G,
Wrong.
F, A major.
Whole step.
F sharp.
F sharp.
Very
F
good.
Oh, sorry, F sharp.
So it stays,
On the half step, okay.
yes, on the whole step.
On the-
Remember, E to F.
E, E to F, right. E to F,
This is
there's
really
nothing
important.
in between.
This is really
I gotta
important.
remember that.
Everything else is already there.
B to C and E to F, okay.
Very good. So now we're gonna half step up from F sharp. What do we get? G.
H, hard jack.
Now we're gonna whole step up from G. What do we get?
A.
Very good. Go to whole step up from A. What do we
B.
get?
B.
Another tricky one. Whole step up from B. What do we get?
B sharp.
C.
C. C.
C sharp.
C sharp.
Very good.
Yep, C sharp.
Everybody see why?
Because C's a half step.
Yes.
C's a half step.
Oh,
And
yeah,
you
the
still
half
have,
steppers.
do you guys understand that all we just did was use the formula and filled in the gaps? We filled in, what's the root? We pick a key, right?
Right.
All we have to do is pick a key first, because the key doesn't exist until you make it. So I picked D, and then we filled in using this formula what the rest of the notes were until we got all the way through.
So what's it sound like?
Sounds like
Everyone
this.
play it.
Sound like.
Yeah, you gotta play it.
What is it? What's it sound like?
D major sounds like a big open field to me. So we got
Yeah, it's open
yeah.
Oh, that's pretty.
Okay, cool. Very good. You want me to go over that with you? Anybody want to go over that again?
I think I got it.
Alright, so where's D? Very good. Whole step
Still
up.
edging from that duo there.
It's the whole step, so D.
Nice job, Greg. Whole step
That's
up
pretty
from
good.
there.
Sounded good.
Half step.
I like it.
Whole step. Whole step. Hold.
Argument is savage.
What is that?
No.
This is.
No, you. It's right below D.
Oh, right, C.
C what?
C minor.
C sharp.
C sharp.
Because it's right next to D. So,
Because you can't think.
if you have trouble,
I know.
if you guys have trouble,
C sharp.
you get up into this part of the scale and you're like, oh fuck, I'm so far away from the root. Work from here. Don't work from there. Work from what's closer, from what you know. Remember, work from what you know, always. Okay?
I just need to practice. That's what.
Yep. Okay. So, does anyone have any questions on what we just did? Everybody feel pretty good about that?
So you're doing it.
So one thing I just noticed, because my memory, okay, so I play by ear. So when I do major, I know what a major scale sounds like.
Right.
Theoretically, No, but I know it. I know
Good,
that's
you just
me,
played it
too.
in A, so now play it in D. Very good. Can you play that a different way? No, not in a different key.
Oh,
The
yeah.
same
Well, and that's what I was
scale
getting
of
ready
D.
because you were playing it on 2 strings, and I'm not used to doing that.
I know, that's why
So-
I'm doing it.
So I noticed, and I think in patterns. In other words,
Finger
when I learn a
patterns.
chord, I don't know what notes I'm playing, but
You
I know
should
that
now. You
I
should
know,
have an idea.
I know this is a G chord, but I know I see this as shape in my mind.
Okay, good. That's
And
good
then
too.
I see this as a shape.
Shapes
I see
are
this
important.
as a shape, right? But now you showed me a new shape. It's the same on the A and
Yes,
and
very
so-
good, man. There you go. Now, the only reason it's important to know that shape is because if you don't know all the shapes and you want to explore everything, you're not going to be able to. Now, you got to start with 1, right? So, since that's a new one to you, make that your bitch for the week, man. Fucking go home and do that thing over and over.
Would
every
you
day.
want to do that live? I mean,
Oh man, you can do that so many ways live. I can't use this guitar to show you because it doesn't have this cutaway. Can you borrow my guitar for a second? Dude, let's just say I want to fucking do a really cool run, right? Now I'm not as familiar on guitar. I can do this a lot better on bass.
but now you're in the 3rd string.
Right.
Okay.
But I worked my way up there because I went horizontally. It's a pure like I want to be able to move in that direction smoothly, right?
Right.
It's not a you have to do this.
Right.
It's about how do you want the guitar to work for you. So by learning the different motions and learning different patterns like that, you know, you can play more than just right. That's cool. But say there's just something that is calling your name up this way, man. Say you really want to hit a higher note. Right. So I just worked my way from there up to there. I hit 2 different sets of octaves too when I worked my way up. Now granted, I'm not the smoothest player, okay, that's nothing crazy. But I'm using the scale and the horizontal motion to my advantage to make my way all the way up here if I want. Which,
My problem is my short fingers.
dude, you
I
have an
say that
advantage
too,
with
and I've
short
asked other
fingers.
guitarists, and they're like,
telling you, it
you
just
can't
takes-
use that as an excuse.
No, you can't. And it
Because I've
just takes
seen guys.
Jimmy Rickard. He's got
Jimmy,
he's got
Jimmy,
sausage
yep,
fingers.
exactly.
Yeah,
and
and
look at
Jimmy
him, man. He
shreds.
plays. I
I mean,
plays
dude, have you guys ever
Everrise.
seen Yngwie Malmsteen play?
That
That guy's
have.
fingers are like
Big bang.
bratwurst, and he
Really?
has rings on.
Oh, really? I
every
never
one.
noticed that about
Dude,
him.
he has like stacks of rings on each of his fingers, and they are fucking huge.
And he rips it.
I saw that guy play, and I was like, how does he even move? It's like
With
seriously
all that
watching
stuff.
4 bratwursts like slapping each other.
I didn't know that.
I never noticed that.
But he's like, he flies, dude.
And I've asked a couple guitar players, I'm like,
He's a fat
let me
guy.
see your hands compared to mine. And it's like,
Dude, I
it's
don't
like
even
they're
know
like,
if it's in those pants.
You
I don't
can't
know.
use that
How
as
he plays
an
guitar like that,
excuse.
I don't know, but I'm telling you, this man has the fattest fingers I've ever seen.
Well, listen, his actions you could probably barely put
Well,
a,
he has-
a piece of paper in between his actions.
That's the
I
excuse
mean,
you
I'm
know.
always dubbing strings.
So what
but-
you have to do is just go slow. You sing, man. You have an advantage here with
Yeah.
the guitar. You sing too. Not that anyone who doesn't sing doesn't have one, but
Well,
when you
it
sing,
helps.
you can come up with a line like fucking that. That's why
Yeah.
you were able to go up there and go, oh, I don't know these songs. And the guy goes, oh, what is this, this, and this? And I bet
And he
you
did it, yeah.
had so much fun.
We did shaky ground.
Uh-huh.
And hands to yourself.
Keep your hands to yourself. That was the other one I was thinking.
I love that song.
Oh no, it wasn't shaky ground. It was evil something.
Evil,
Evil woman.
was it? No, it wasn't
It's a
Evil.
different song.
I don't think he did.
But
Anyways, it was good.
the thing you can do there is like, and let's say, okay, well, I don't want to just play the scale, right? Because what guitar player do you ever hear that just goes through the scale and that's all they play? No one does that, right? But if you know your arpeggios, like we talked about last week, you can go, right? Now it wasn't the smoothest thing, but I walked my way up using certain notes of the scale. So I'm gonna go do 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 do, which I can't sing it that well because my gaps in my singing are not that good. But I hear it. I hear what I want to do because I can sing. So all I'm doing there, and this is a really cool exercise too that you guys can do. Here, I'm gonna give you this back.
Or you give me yellow, either way.
You don't need to know even what you're doing with this, but it's just fun to do. It's cheesy and it's fun to do. So we're gonna go D, okay? Then we're gonna go up to F sharp with our pinky. Now let go of that D. You're not playing the D anymore, right? Yeah,
See,
and you don't
that's
have to
why
use
my
your pinky.
fault.
Oh, okay, so I know what I'm gonna give you for
Yeah, see, this is my pinky, I don't use it that much.
We're gonna change that.
Alright.
So regardless of how you get there,
Okay.
this is an example of what I mean by let's break up the scale and do something creative with it. Okay, so I'm gonna go D to F sharp to A. Good. Now, say you want to get to your next string on A. That's it right there.
Okay, so,
Good.
over here,
-5.
right,
If you're ever high up on a string, except for the B string,
right,
and you want to go down, subtract 5, go up a string. Say I'm on the 12th fret.
yeah,
12 minus 5 is what?
3. 3. 12 minus 5 is what? 6?
7.
7.
7, right?
I'm not
We'll
good.
try 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like becoming math. I'm
Right, so-
horrible at math.
There's a little math, dude.
Oh, I see.
I haven't even gotten a rhythm yet. Wait till I get there.
Right?
Yes. So that is how we find
So 7's right.
our notes.
So that's the same note. Okay.
Except when you're going from the G string to the B string, you only subtract 4.
Okay. So where do you?
Yeah, if you look at this neck, you're gonna get confused, man. I'm gonna get a different guitar because there's no fret marker.
There we go.
But it's back to 5 between the B and the E.
You playing E?
Yeah.
Key of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you.
Alright, I got a little baby.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm getting cruising.
No, I'm
Feeling good?
good, man. I just
Good.
still driving.
Really good.
I'm just still driving.
So you want to do this?
But I can leave in about 5 minutes.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah,
That's
I'm
cool.
okay. But it's all good. I'll look at the video after this. You know, that's
Yeah.
what's nice about the
You
video.
should. I know.
It's funny, a couple weeks ago, I went to help a mic, and the bass player's like, I just ordered an acoustic bass, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, and he brings it out, and it's just about 3 inches longer than that. Little baby acoustic.
That,
Okay, we're gonna use Deanna on the drums here.
Okay.
before we, what you mean?
Oh, you're alright.
Just like.
Maybe Dick.
Yeah.
Love that stuff, man.
Try to play
Do you have other
that.
sticks though? This is plastic and this one.
Yeah, I do.
No, they're in the car.
Do you use them for just right now?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry.
I don't know what I'm gonna be doing, so yeah.
You're gonna play us a drum beat,
Okay.
okay? Anyone you want.
I don't know.
Remember,
Yeah, but wait.
just give us a beat, but I want you to make it around like just tempo. Perfect. Yeah. Before we get there, before we get to like jam and having a little bit of fun, not that this won't be fun, but what I want you guys to try to do is play through, let's see, we're gonna play through our C major scale. We're gonna do it like this, okay, and I'm throwing you guys real quick to the wolves. If you fuck it up 8,000 times, who cares, okay? Good. We're gonna play it the way that Rob is playing it right now. Or you can play however you want, because you know a bunch of shit. No offense to anyone else. But we're gonna play our C major scale, however you feel the most comfortable. So Jason,
Do it in my box.
if you wanna do it in the box,
Oh, that sounded horrible. You like that. That's what you said,
Oh
didn't it?
man.
That's like familiar.
Okay, so you know your C major scale, Frank? Well, let's do it like this. So you're gonna C and D, E, F, G. You gotta remember it. And then G, or the open G. It's okay if you gotta leave it, don't worry. What I need you to do
I just need to practice.
practice your C
But now
major.
I got it.
At least one way for your C major.
Oh, yeah.
You.
It completes next
Oh, I know you want that. Don't worry.
Makes your harmonic dive.
Okay.
I'm kind of just putting this together as we're going along, so. Alright,
Gotta be
so
bad.
she's gonna kick a beat.
It's not good.
Guys, we gotta keep our tempo while she's doing this. Yes. You can play it as fast or as slow as you want, but it's gotta be in time. It can be like this. Perfect. Keep jamming. Okay, good. Now, what you guys may not realize is that we all just play together.
We're a band.
Especially for you.
Good job.
You gotta turn up though a little bit. I really want to hear that last part.
All right, man. Sorry,
turn
but
up.
I gotta go.
That's okay.
Yeah, I
We'll
guess.
see you later, Greg.
But I'll see you
Have a
next
good
week.
rest of your day.
All right,
Good
man.
job today.
Take care, guys. Thanks.
Yep, and I'll make sure you guys get that video ASAP.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll send you a share link.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it, 'cause I want to try to kind of see what privately. See what you can.
All right, man.
All right, take it
See you guys later, Jason. I'll probably see you Tuesday. If not, I'll see you next match.
You go like that.
Oh yeah, but be careful.
Yeah. There was a guy actually killed himself.
Oh.
The neck broke and went right into his heart.
Good God. No.
Because it was like this, and
No.
when the tension relieved, heart. Yeah.
All right.
Or worse, yeah,
So-
messed up his guitar.
Oh yeah.
In a
I
second.
could do some Dimebag dive bombs.
Dimebag dive bombs. That sounds like a terrible.
Dimebag Dave.
Dimebag Daryl.
No, I know Dimebag Daryl. But I said Dimebag dive bomb. Sounds like a terrible drug dealer.
Dimebag Dive Bomb.
What's up? The name's Dive Bombs.
Got killer
Wow,
Dimebags.
Donovan. You're gonna have to teach me some shit.
You guys better be careful. We're just gonna rest this up.
Alright, we're gonna do one more of this. Sorry if it gets boring, repetitive. It's how we get better at it. Now we're gonna do A. Everybody knows the first letter of A scale, right? It's A. So, we go up a whole step from A, what do we get?
B.
B, very good. Go up a whole step from B, what do we get?
C sharp.
C sharp, awesome.
Yeah.
Good. Half step up from C, C sharp.
D sharp.
No, half
Oh,
step.
half step.
Yep. Whole step up from D.
E.
Yeah.
No E.
This is what happens when you do it over and over. This is the last one we're gonna do, and then we're gonna go on something else. Okay, whole step up from E.
G.
F sharp.
Very good.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
That's okay. It's getting to that point where we're like,
Damn it.
what is what? Whole step up from F sharp.
My stuff.
G sharp.
Very good, Rich, my man. Do you guys notice something about these scales?
Good job, Rich.
Every time that I have put a new root here, which I have done in a
Added a
specific
sharp.
way, it's added a sharp that has been the 7th note of the scale, right? Okay. Does anybody remember what notes we started with? After C, we did.
Hey, good. I'll go get it
Oh,
for you.
wow, hey.
That's his
That's my
dad.
dad.
I'll come get this for you.
I can see the beard.
Sorry, guys.
Everybody meet Randy, my dad.
Big R.
Thanks, Dad.
Enjoy.
Yeah, that's the original version of
That's the OG.
Randy.
OG Pops.
Okay, so we did C, then we did G, then we did D, and now we're on A. Can anyone figure out what we're doing here? What's the significance of going from C to G?
You got served. Okay.
Think of it using our number system.
Fifth.
It's the fifth. Very good. So we went C doesn't have any flats or sharps, right? Then we went up to G, which is a fifth away from C, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We gain a sharp. Make sense? How far away is D from G? Fifth, exactly. Then we gain another sharp. And we went up a fifth from D to A, gain a sharp.
I should have learned this. I just took a test in music on this.
It's called the circle of fifths. Okay, I'm not even gonna try to draw the circle. But if you look it up on the internet, you'll see it. It looks complicated. All it really is that.
So if we went to F, it'd be 4 sharps?
Not F.
C, D, E, F.
F is the sixth. E is the fifth.
Oh, okay.
Because we're on A, right?
Right,
So
right.
A, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yes, if we went to E, we keep all the sharps we have, we gain a new one, that would be the seventh note. What do you think it would be? Let's go through this, I'm not even gonna write it down. D.
It's gonna be D.
Yep, it's gonna be D sharp, very good. It's always next to the note you're starting on.
Just subtract 1, yeah.
Exactly, very good. See, that's what I was talking about, work from where you already know from. Yes, we're working from this area, but the same note exists here, so you can work backwards too, okay? This becomes kind of important when you're trying to like, think about this stuff, but I hope that made sense for everybody.
I'm still really cloudy on it.
Okay, So-
and maybe I'll just have to watch the tape.
With a chance.
that's okay. First thing we did, one more time, C major,
C.
right? How many sharps or flats do we have?
0.
0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Takes us up a,
Right.
we call this a fifth,
Right.
right? And this is why the number system becomes really important, because you're filling in what I called on that paper, the degree. Okay, that's just the number, what number we're on. It tells us what part of the scale we're on. So a fifth up from C is G.
Right.
If we make our new root note G, then we get G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, C, or G, sorry, I'm tired. So basically what I'm saying is, because we went a fifth up from this root, started that over, we gained a sharp. Does that make sense? And the sharp
Okay.
was the seventh note.
Oops.
What's a
It's
fifth
the
up
7th
from
note
G?
you come to in that scale.
Huh?
It'll be the 7th note you come to in that new scale.
Yes, exactly, very good. So, what's a fifth up from G, including G? If I counted 1, 2, 3,
D.
4. Yes, very good, D. So D is gonna have 2 sharps because our previous one had 1 sharp.
Share D.
All I'm trying to show you is how you can figure out your major scale, and this is literally all it takes to figure out anything about music theory that you want to be able to figure out.
This is slightly confusing to me because in piano, and it's been so long since I've read music by the piano, but I remember that usually the ledger, you know, the signature at the beginning was always flats.
Okay, so let's do. You want to look at some
No,
flats?
I'm just saying that. Why
No, it's
is
okay.
it that in guitar, because I hear people
Oh, no.
talk about sharps a lot. When
It's not
playing
only
guitar.
sharps. I don't know why people on guitar refer to sharps a lot. I think it's just a method of, because everybody, you know, previous to 1900s learned music through sheet music. So everyone could read, right? Everyone got parlor music. That was like
Right.
the thing. Everyone bought literal, like, written music to go play at their houses. And everyone had a piano. So then all of a sudden the guitar becomes popular. We start getting things like jazz and rock and roll and the blues. And that is more ear and oral. It's like storytelling, right? So we lost that written thing. And it became more, oh yeah, you wanna learn guitar, man? I'll show you a couple things. You pick it up and and you learn from your fucking cousin, you know, like I did. He didn't know how to play, he just was like, yeah man, you wanna play this Clutch song? It goes, that was the first song I ever learned.
Really?
And I was like, what, how do I do that? So you just put your finger here, then you put your next finger there, then you put this finger here. And I was like, what the fuck? Dude, I gotta know why. I just was never satisfied with that. But I'll never forget that was the first time in my life that I actually ended up being able to play something on guitar. And that was like my first musical experience ever. So that is why probably somewhere along the line, sharps just became a popular thing, dude, communicative wise. I'm showing you sharps because I don't know, to me it's just, that's what I started with. So that's the direction I moved. But if we did flat,